This is both a stretch and an attack. It's vlog day 651. Ooh, nobody come near me. You're gonna get clobbered. Morning. As you can tell, I am dressed for inclement weather. Is it gonna rain? Is it not? Is it gonna be sunny? Is it not? It's hard to know for sure. It's Paris. But in that vein, I wanted to talk about the importance of gear and specifically waterproof cameras. You should all know that I have the world's best case on this thing. Well, at least I have my favorite case. It's a Tech 21 case. It's how I can drop my phone multiple times a day and still have no damage done to it, which is good because without that, I would be toast. Slightly less important on a daily basis, but very important for certain situations, is having a waterproof camera. The very first waterproof camera I ever had was an Xperia X1, I think. Or an Xperia Z1, Xperia 1. It was an Xperia, it's like the first generation of the Xperias. It's one of the first waterproof cameras ever, and it was amazing. And this brings us to an early Mercy Ships Monday, because tomorrow is supposed to be Mercy Ships Monday, but I'm gonna be spending tomorrow with Jean-Yves shooting a thing for him, and I don't know that I'm gonna have time to do Mercy Ships Monday, so I thought I'll sit down, do one today, and talk about waterproof cameras, the Congo River, that whole experience, because it was pretty amazing. And sometimes you have to have a very dramatic disrobing, because that's how things operate around here. Now, I have to forewarn you that this story contains nudity. Not nudity, but you know, swimming suit moments. And this is before I lost 40 pounds. We haven't talked about my whole weight loss journey. I lost a lot of weight, so it's kind of gross. I'm just gonna forewarn you about that. Not that I'm like a prime specimen now. I really need a gym membership very badly at the moment, but you know, there's like a dead, tiny little moth here. Little distraction there. Whoop, throw it back outside. Or into the spider's web that's right there. This is an exercise in self-acceptance that I'm gonna show you these photos. Anyways, when we went to Brazzaville, which is where we ended up getting a chance to see the river and have like a crazy cool experience, and there are a lot of stories that came out of our time in Brazzaville, like the fact that we had nowhere to sleep the first night. But one of the coolest things for sure was going and actually seeing the cataracts on the Congo River. We drove down out of Brazzaville, away from Kinshasa as well. Brazzaville and Kinshasa are on opposing sides of the river, and you can see them from across. It was really, really neat. That's as close as I've ever actually gotten to Kinshasa, seeing it across the river. I would like to go visit it someday, but until then, I had just gotten back from my month in the States trying to recover from 5 months of working as a media liaison. I told you guys about how I burned out really hard in the Congo, working 12 to 15 hour days 4 or 5 months straight with like one day off maybe a week, but often going for a couple weeks at a time hard with each new media team that came to the ship. So I was still pretty dead. I came back to the ship, managed to spend some good time with some friends there, and kind of had made my decision I was gonna phase out. So I was training my replacement, the guy who finally came on to be my assistant. Great guy, training him up and then moving on. A group of my friends and I went to Brazzaville. It was kind of my goodbye hurrah. It was really, really fun. We all went, we had crazy hats. Oh, I can find that. I haven't taken the hat down to the garage yet. I can wear that hat. Look, it's my old Mercy Ships bottle. I still have earbuds in. And my fancy orange hat. We all had hats. We had like different teams kind of. We went flying in together. So much fun. Had a really, really great weekend. Saw some cool stuff, went to some museums, but like I said, the really fun part was when we went all the way out to the cataracts. These things were insane. Like they shot, if you've ever seen piers in a storm where the waves crash against a pier and just shoot water straight up into the air, this is like stormy pier waves on crack. Like every few seconds, basically, they're just churning the water. It would destroy you. There was actually a barge way out in the middle of the river that had just gone aground in the middle of the cataracts, and they just left it there. I have no idea how they got the crew out of there safely. It was crazy, and we were able to swim out to a point where we could see that. And the only way that I was able to get any footage, any photos, any video of this at all was because I had a camera that was waterproof. The Xperia actually had, now they waterproof the ports, so you can have an exposed like USB port and water can get in and out, whatever, it's not a big deal. Back then they actually had like plugs that went in and blocked everything off. And this was my great test. Would it actually work? I swam out with it in my pocket. It was a little sketchy at a couple points, but for the most part, we were able to swim through areas that had very low current and were protected from the majority of the river. Got all the way out to these rocks that were right next to the cataracts themselves, and then kind of climbed around on those. Took some photos, proof that we were there, took some video, and it was amazing. It was one of those moments that you're never gonna be able to capture without having the right equipment. I struggle a little bit in how I vlog with not having the right equipment for certain things. There's certain artistic things that I would like to be able to do that I cannot do with my phone. I am gonna look into getting some like phone lenses and stuff like that to try and play around with it, but at the end of the day, I'm stuck with the width of this one particular lens. This is all I've got to work with. And it's okay, I generally like it, but people often ask me like why I don't film with a regular camera, why I don't film with a bigger camera, and the strength of filming with the phone is that you've heard, I'm sure, that the best camera is the camera you have on you. That's a cliche or a maxim or a truism or whatever it is that's always around with photography. The best camera that you have is the camera that you have on you. There's always a better camera out there, but whatever you have with you is the best one you have at the time, and you always have your phone with you. I always do. It's sleek, it fits right in my pocket, I can take it with me anywhere, and I can always just pull it out and take photos, take video as I go and put it back. There's no extra weight to carry, there's no lenses to swap, I don't have to worry about batteries, I don't have to worry about so many things. So it's actually really convenient, and the quality of it is very high. The quality of that old footage, not so high, but they were on their way. And the thing about that phone and this phone was that they're waterproof. So if I wanted to swim out somewhere with this phone, I'd be set. The limitation, of course, is one time I was in a swimming pool with my phone for like 30 minutes, and that is a no-no. You don't want to submerge your phone for a long time. But swimming with it was okay. And if I hadn't had that with me, if I hadn't gone back to the States, bought a new phone, brought that phone with me, and been willing to test it out in the waters of the Congo River, I never would have gotten these shots. Maybe to you they're not so cool or not so impressive, but to me it's a really cool memory to have gone out there, been able to take some photos with friends. Like there's no other way we would have been able to take selfies out there to prove that we were there. And at the end of the day, does it matter? I mean, we are trying to live our lives. I know I'm kind of a weird exception because I'm vlogging all the time, but I do try to live my life through my own eyes, and I do try not to take as many photos as I used to. I try to take good photos, but I also try to really just live in the moment. And that's why I struggle with filming in social gatherings, like at the meetup last night, or any time with friends when we're out just having a drink or whatever's going on. Like I tend to prefer to try and actually just live in the moment and enjoy it with the people that I'm around rather than constantly filming. So it's partially because I feel awkward filming other people sometimes, but it's also largely because I just want to live my life. And if you don't have a device like this, where you can just pull it out, get the quick image, and go back to living your life, it does cause problems. This Mercy Ships Monday is kind of an ad for waterproof phones, I guess. That was not my intent. But there's so many times in my life, so many of the stories that I'm going to share through Mercy Ships Mondays, through my time here, whatever, that would not have been possible if I didn't have a decent camera in my pocket all the time. My number one frustration with this device, among others, is when it's too slow, when it doesn't start up quickly enough, when I miss moments. And I would never capture those with a real camera, I don't think. If I had a full-size camera, unless I had it in my hand all the time, ready to roll, it'd be really hard to capture moments the same way that I'm able to capture them with this. I'm sure there's a complete counter-argument to that. I would love to hear it in the comments below if you have one. But for me, I guess this is kind of an argument as to why I used to think a lot about wanting to upgrade and wanting to, especially for the lenses, that was it, really being able to take some more artistic shots, to get some better macro footage, to get some better zoomed in footage, like having a lens that I could actually zoom in on like a portion of a building or a portion of the Eiffel Tower and take a time lapse of clouds going by and windows, or behind the Eiffel Tower as the elevators go up and down, that kind of stuff. I still would really like to be able to do that, but it's really hard to overcome the sheer convenience and power of this phone. Like the return on investment on that, I'm not sure is really there. Really, it's a lot of extra work for not a lot of extra rewards. So, the Congo. Should I tell you anything else about my time in the Congo? It was fun. Congo Brazzaville is also interesting because it's a very well laid out city. It felt very clean and well designed, and they say that Brazzaville is actually the last bastion of true French language. People there are very well educated and very intense about their French, and are maintaining it supposedly better than the French now, because the French are allowing English in much more than they ever did before. So you can take that up with a linguist somewhere, but that is one of the things that I was told somewhere along the line, and I buy it. The French was really good down there. Some amazing people. Still my favorite shawarma in the world is in Congo Brazzaville, and my favorite Indian restaurant, which is no longer open. Anyways, that's a little bit of a Mercy Ships Monday for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a couple of things. I do have some stickers here. Do remember, if you go on a bike tour with Bike About, to mention that you found it through me, and they will hook you up with a sticker. If they don't hook you up with a sticker, let me know and I'll see what I can do to help you out with that. They also have these just in the Peloton. So if you don't want to do a bike tour, but you are in Paris and you want a sticker, just go grab a sticker and they should give you €1 off your coffee. Also, new shirt of the month is going to be coming out on Monday or Tuesday. There'll be a little overlap where you can still buy the heart face shirt if you want it, but then it's going to be gone. So, get on that if you really want it. Patrons, I'm going to give you a preview. Also, if you want camera 4, which is full You get this whole camera, this whole disposable camera with a whole bunch of photos on it from all over the world. If you're on Patreon, $3 and up, you'll be put in a drawing for this, assuming that you comment on the post where I asked. There's like probably only 30 or 40 comments on there, last I checked. So your odds aren't bad. Your odds aren't bad of getting this guy. And then of course, camera 5, which I'm working on right now. Once this is full, we will turn this into postcards. So the photos from Edinburgh and of cherry blossoms and whatever else we photograph over the next month or so, we'll end up on this guy, and then you can get a postcard out of that. And that's gonna be for, at this point, I think that's for $5 patrons and up, just because the cost of this has kind of gone up, but we'll figure it out as we go. So, with that, I leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is your first time watching my vlog and you made it this far, I'm very impressed. Please go watch something else because this was just me sitting and chatting with a really silly hat on. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for yet more madness. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be hanging out with Jean-Yves, so you can watch us move his atelier tomorrow. My room is covered in pollen too. Like having the only ventilation in your room being a giant window right next to a flowering bush sounds nice. It is nice. I gotta clean up all this pollen at some point. All right, good night.
You